really well. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for talking with me today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Cleo has this redemption. She's not so much a nice person at the beginning, let's
Yes,
be honest there, but she
yes.
comes around. And so, like, I'd love to know how you felt when you read that in the script, that you knew you had to start mean, but you were going to get there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I kind of had an idea of it when I auditioned because the audition scenes were, some of them were the more sassy, mean girl moments. But then the last one was when Claudine saves her from the gargoyle. And she's just flabbergasted. Like, why would you save me,
Mm-hmm.
And when I was working with Todd in one of my callbacks, he was really just playing with that moment and figuring out, how can we show Cleo's confusion here? And that's really what starts her redemption. Um, because I think she realizes like you can you can have connections with people or monsters, I should say.
Yeah,
And it doesn't have to be through controlling them with fear. It can be with love and acceptance. So
I
I was
love
really
it.
thrilled about that.
Yeah, no, it was great. And because I it started off and I'm like, I feel like from the other Monster High stuff, like they're friends. So
Yeah,
like I don't think they're gonna just make her the bad guy and keep her the bad guy the whole time.
yeah.
So I was very pleased about that. So were you a Monster High fan growing up?
So I was super familiar with the dolls. They always caught my eye when we were in the stores, but my mom never let me have them, unfortunately. But my cousin had all of them, like all of the different outfits, all of the different like environments that they sell, like all of the accessories. And so every time we would go to her house, we'd always play Monster High. And even then, I was very interested in Cleo. Like I just connected with her. Um, and so I actually mentioned this recently in another interview, but she was actually there when I got the first audition for Monster High. She was like freaking out. And now
Yeah,
we're older, but we still have a lot of love for it.
I love that. So what do you think it is about Cleo that draws you to her?
I mean, I feel like every little kid wants to see themselves represented as like a doll or a character. And so I think like right off the bat, we share the same heritage and we sort of look alike. And so I think instantly that's what made me gravitate towards her, but also her confidence. It's just so like, it's so bold and vibrant, and nothing that she faces seems to phase her. She's so quick. And so I think I really admired that because, now I'm an actor, but when I was a little kid, I was super shy. I love to
Really?
perform, but yeah, it's surprising. I was just so shy. I would just blush when I was on the spot and I never knew what to say. And so I think deep down I really wanted to be like Cleo.
I love that. So how did it feel when you got this job? When they were like, "Okay, you're going to be a Monster High." What was your
Oh my
reaction?
gosh. I well, I was pinned after my callback. And when you're pinned, it basically means that they are considering you for the part. They don't want you to take another job that's going to conflict with those dates, but you don't know if or if not, they might be considering other people too. So even if you're pinned, it's not a guarantee. And I was waiting for like 2 weeks. Not like 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks exactly. I was counting the days.
I'm sure it
Um,
felt longer than that.
it was the longest 2 weeks ever. And anytime my phone would ring, I would just, is it my manager? Is it my reps? And then one day I just said to myself, okay, you just have to let this go. You did your job. It's not up to you anymore. If it comes your way, it was meant to be. If not, it's not. And you'll wait for the next thing. And then that day that I finally felt calm, I was babysitting and my manager called me and I was like, kids, I'm going to step outside for a moment. And it was my manager, my agent, both my agents in the US and Canada. And my manager was like, well, Jai, you've got everybody on the phone. So it either means you're fired well, you booked something. I was like,
Yay.
oh gosh. It was crazy. It was, thinking back, that moment does not even feel real.
It's so amazing. So I don't know. I should have researched this, but I don't know if they're going to do like movie version dolls or if they've even done that yet. Do
Hmm.
you know?
I don't know. And I'm telling the truth. I really don't know anything.
How crazy
Um,
would that be if it was like a movie, like literally you as the doll?
that would be honestly, ever since we filmed and this movie has come out, everything's just felt so surreal. So anything could happen at this point, and I'd be like, that seems about right. But that would be insane.
That would be
I
so
hope
cool.
it happens. I hope that people like the movie enough to want to play with our little doll versions.
Oh yeah, we love already like because we have like tons of Monster High dolls, but after we came back from the premiere, my girls were like, and they're 9 and 11, so they've almost grown out of
Perfect
dolls,
age group.
but they like jumped immediately back in it, grabbed all the dolls, and were like playing Monster High again. It's
Oh
like
my God.
reinvigorated their love
That's so
for the
sweet.
franchise.
Well, I
Um,
think that you're never too old to play with dolls. I love
I
playing with
listen, I
dolls
agree. I
now
play
in
with the
my
look.
nineties.
I've got dolls. Like I've
I
got so.
mean, as you should.
I love dolls. But so one of the things I want to talk to you about is these like musical numbers and dance sequences were so entertaining. I won't mention the name of the other franchise from another
Right.
studio, but very reminiscent of that, maybe even a little bit better at times, I think. But what was that like? Like learning all those dance moves and training for all these massive musical numbers.
So I do have a background in ballet, tap, and jazz, but that was when I was a lot younger. So as soon as I booked the job, I instantly was in dance classes. I was doing stamina training because I was thinking, I'm going to have to be able to do these dances again and again and again, take after take. So fortunately, by the time I came to Vancouver, I felt pretty prepared. Then we started learning the numbers, and I just remember day one, and we had the most amazing choreographer and her assistant, Heather Laura Gray and Randa Barrett. I cannot shout them out enough. They were so patient, so kind. Just they did everything with grace, and so pumped up too. Like it was just easy to match their energy, you know. But on day one of the dance, and the first dance that we learned was True Monster Heart,
Oh,
which is
oh,
of them more or less one of the easier ones because a lot of it is like tableography, we called it, with moving the tables and the binders. Um, and that day I was just thinking, I'm gonna have to do this in heels. Um, in 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks to learn this and two other dances. But they were just there for us every step of the way. We could schedule one-on-ones with them. The
oh.
wardrobe department was also really amazing. They helped us figure out what shoes we were going to be wearing really early on so that we could take them home and practice in them. So ultimately, I think everyone came together and we all felt really prepared. But yeah, it was so fun. And those songs just, you cannot get them out of your head.
No, we like it came home and they were out on Spotify before, I believe it was before the movie because going into the premiere, like my daughter's sitting next to me singing all the words to all the songs. Like, how do you know this song? This movie isn't even out yet. And she like already memorized it all.
I
She
love
knew. But so how did it feel when you first saw yourself fully like as Cleo? That must have been kind of surreal.
Yeah. So in during the time when we were learning the dances, that was like a boot camp sort of session before we started filming. It was about 2 weeks. And during that time, we also did a lot of camera tests to figure out the makeup and the hair. And the first sort of version of Cleo did not look like she looks in the movie.
Oh.
She looked a little bit more like the doll. She didn't have bangs. Her hair was just sort of side parted. And I had blue contact lenses. But then vision became an issue
I can
because
imagine.
the hair kept swinging in my face. And I was like, you guys, with these spins and the heels, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see. And so we did a version with my own bangs. And they were like, oh, yeah, we really like this. So they cut the bangs into the wig. And then they I didn't end up wearing the contact lenses. I just used my own eyeballs. And yeah, but seeing when once we got all those little details figured out, some of the first pictures that we took were the ensemble, and just seeing all of us together was like, this is really happening. It was so crazy. But I just cannot speak highly enough of the wardrobe department, the makeup, the hair. Everyone worked so hard to like painstaking detail of just every little tiny thing, like the lashes and the little stencils of on the Dracula's heart and Cleo's eye of Ra, and just everything was so perfect that it was like, how is this real?
It's so cool. Like I remember when they put like the first posters and first look images and stuff out, and I was like, what? This feels like these dolls like came to life. This is
I
so
know. We
cool.
kept remarking about that the whole time we were on set. Like, wow, Alina, you really look like a doll right now.
Yeah, especially like because you didn't have to deal with like full body paint, changing your
Yeah.
face color, but so many people did, and it's like, wow, it really helps bring the whole look
Yeah.
together.
I did have to deal with full body glitter.
Oh,
We went through, I don't even know how many cans of golden glitter, just spraying, and then it wouldn't stay all day. It would just keep falling off. So it was like everywhere where I went, I left a trail of glitter behind me. They would just have to keep reapplying it. And I think it was at least 4 months before I stopped finding glitter in my house.
I was gonna say, did you just like walk around like, oh, there's more glitter? It's still
It
around.
was everywhere.
So one of the things as a parent, especially about Monster High that I love is it teaches kids to, be themselves, be proud of who they are, and also to not judge others, other books by their cover. So what do you think it is that makes Monster High so important for everyone, really, not just kids to watch?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Well, I feel like the diversity of the characters also extends to the cast itself. I remember when I first met everyone just thinking, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this growing up, where all the three leads are people of color and one of our actors is transgender in real life.
Yeah.
And those to be like the leads of the movie. It's not just like, oh, one person of color who's like the token character, which is what I remember from a lot of media growing up. But so many people were able to bring their own heritage and their own backstory to really flesh out these characters. And we had so many really amazing conversations on set about race and representation. And I think that for kids to be able to see this is happening not only in the world of the story, but also with the actors who are portraying these characters, I really hope that kids will be able to see themselves in any of the characters that they look at. And because everyone is so layered and diverse, not only in who they are, but also like their personalities and their interests and their relationships. So I just think that there's a really strong message about, it's okay to not be sure about who you are, not be sure about what you want, but with the right support around you, you're going to figure it out. And you can change your mind as many times as you want along the way. And as long as you've got the right group with you, like it's all going to be okay in the end.
Oh, I love that so much. Oh, like that's because that's exactly what I want for my kids, to be able to see stuff like that and see themselves on screen. And I think it's so important. So I love that they're doing it. And I love that Frankie is like non-binary, like it completely introduces like, here are my pronouns. Like I love that they put that out there because I think it's so important. So important.
Part of the story, but it wasn't like, oh, pay attention to us. This is like, we're doing this just cause. It's like, no, this is a part of the story. And it's also true for the actor as well. And like, I just love that parallel. It's not, none of it was for show.
Yes.
Even though it's like super high fantasy and it's monsters, like it's also super real and relatable.
Absolutely. I love it so much. Yeah. So did you get to keep anything?
Okay. So I've kept a few things, but they're just tiny because they had to hold on to all the costumes, in case.
Just in case there's maybe.
Like we don't know what's going to happen in the future.
I mean, I feel like we know. I feel like the way they left it off there better be, because or else I'm gonna have two very angry children on my hands, and that is how they left it.
So I had to leave that stuff behind. But the wardrobe department did let me keep one of the strands of golden beads from my wig. Or
That's
did
fun.
I say wardrobe? I meant hair department. And I also kept a few of my nails, which were press-on nails. And this is kind of gross, but not really. I kept the zit.
You did?
I did. I kept the zit. It's just a clump of colored makeup. It's not a real zit. But yeah, I have it.
That's actually kind of cool.
It's
like
kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. I kind of dig it. It's kind of gross.
Facial blemish. I had to document it, you know?
I agree. I'm with you on that one. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it. And like, seriously, there better be more, because thank you so much to all my monetary supporters, my members, and my Patreons. Love you guys.